In a world where scientific breakthroughs are both revered and feared, one invention stands at the forefront of moral dilemma: the age manipulator. Created by Dr. Alexander Grant, this device has the power to alter the age of any living organism. With its potential to cure diseases and extend lifespans, it also carries the terrifying prospect of disrupting the natural order of life. As the device falls into the wrong hands, the delicate balance of existence teeters on the brink of chaos. Join me on a journey through the labyrinth of time as I recount the thrilling tale of how I, Dr. Alexander Grant, grappled with the consequences of my creation and raced against the clock to prevent catastrophe. Chapter 1. The Invention. I still remember the day vividly, the day when the seeds of both marvel and catastrophe were sown. It was a crisp autumn morning when the first glimmers of the age manipulator took shape in my laboratory. The culmination of years of tireless research and boundless ambition, it promised to revolutionize the very fabric of existence. With trembling hands and a heart filled with equal parts excitement and trepidation, I activated the prototype. A soft hum filled the air as the machine sprang to life, its sleek metallic surface shimmering under the fluorescent lights. I held my breath as I approached the control panel, fingers poised to manipulate the very essence of life itself. As I initiated the first test run, a surge of adrenaline coursed through my veins. Would it work? Would I succeed where countless others had faltered? The answer came swiftly as the monitor flickered to life, displaying the unmistakable data confirming the device's efficacy. In that moment, I knew that the world would never be the same. But little did I realize the perilous path upon which my creation would lead me, the shadows lurking just beyond the glow of scientific triumph. Chapter 2. The Theft. The euphoria of my breakthrough was short-lived, shattered by the chilling realization that my invention had attracted the attention of darker forces. It was a typical evening in the laboratory when the intrusion occurred, a shadowy figure slipping through the cracks of security with unnerving ease. I watched in horror as my life's work was spirited away before my very eyes, the age manipulator vanishing into the night like a phantom. Panic seized my heart as I scrambled to make sense of the betrayal, the weight of responsibility crushing down upon me like a leaden cloak. Who would dare to steal such a potent artifact? And for what nefarious purpose? These questions echoed through my mind as I resolved to reclaim what was rightfully mine, to confront the thief and restore order to the chaos unleashed upon the world. Thus began my descent into a labyrinth of intrigue and peril, where every step brought me closer to the heart of darkness and the ultimate showdown that would determine the fate of humanity itself. Chapter 3. Racing Against Time. With the realization sinking in that my creation was now in the hands of unknown entities, I felt a sense of urgency unlike anything I had ever experienced. Time seemed to warp around me, each moment dripping with the weight of impending catastrophe. Gathering what little clues remained in the wake of the theft, I embarked on a frantic race against the clock. Every lead, every shred of evidence became a lifeline in the swirling tempest of uncertainty. I combed through security footage, analyzed digital trails, and sought out informants willing to risk everything for a glimpse of the truth. Yet, as the hours stretched into days and the days bled into weeks, I found myself no closer to unraveling the mystery shrouding the whereabouts of the age manipulator. It was as if the very fabric of reality conspired against me, twisting and contorting into a maddening labyrinth of dead ends and false leads. But amidst the chaos, a glimmer of hope emerged, a name whispered in hushed tones among the shadows of the underworld. The mastermind, they called him, a shadowy figure rumored to hold sway over the darkest corners of society. With a newfound resolve burning in my veins, I set my sights on confronting this enigmatic adversary, knowing full well that the fate of humanity hung in the balance. For the age manipulator was not merely a tool of science. It was a weapon capable of reshaping the very foundations of existence. And so, with each passing moment, the stakes grew higher, the shadows closing in around me like a suffocating embrace. But I would not falter, I would not yield, for I knew that the fate of the world rested upon my shoulders alone. Chapter 4. Unraveling Clues. As I delved deeper into the murky underworld of clandestine dealings and hidden agendas, the puzzle pieces began to fall into place, albeit slowly and with great effort. Every informant I encountered spoke in hushed tones of a mysterious figure known only as the Collector, rumored to have an insatiable appetite for rare and powerful artifacts. With a sinking heart, I realized that my invention had likely fallen into the hands of this elusive figure, adding yet another layer of complexity to an already convoluted web of intrigue. But I refused to be deterred, pressing forward with dogged determination in pursuit of the truth. Through a network of underground contacts and covert exchanges, I managed to unearth a series of clues leading me ever closer to the Collector's lair. A fortress hidden in the heart of the city's most decrepit district, shielded from prying eyes by layers of deception and misdirection. Armed with nothing but my wits and a burning desire to set things right, I infiltrated the fortress under cover of darkness, navigating its labyrinthine corridors with the stealth of a shadow. Every step brought me closer to my quarry, yet also deeper into the heart of danger. And then, at long last, I found myself standing before the sanctum of the Collector, a chamber adorned with treasures beyond imagination, each one a testament to the depths of his depravity. But amidst the opulence, there it was, the Age Manipulator, gleaming like a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. With trembling hands, I reached out to reclaim what was rightfully mine, steeling myself for the confrontation that was sure to follow. For I knew that the Collector would not relinquish his prize without a fight, and that the final reckoning was at hand. Chapter 5. Pursuit begins. As my fingers closed around the familiar contours of the Age Manipulator, a surge of triumph mingled with trepidation coursed through my veins. But before I could savor the moment, the silence was shattered by the deafening roar of alarms, signaling that my presence had been detected. With no time to spare, I fled into the darkness, the weight of the device heavy in my grasp. But I knew that I was not alone, that the Collector's minions would stop at nothing to retrieve what they believed to be rightfully theirs. Thus began a harrowing game of cat and mouse, as I navigated the treacherous labyrinth of the fortress, each step fraught with peril. Shadows danced around me, mocking my efforts to evade capture, while the echoes of pursuit grew ever louder in the oppressive silence. But even as the odds stacked against me, I refused to surrender to despair, drawing upon reserves of strength I never knew I possessed. With each narrow escape and near miss, my resolve only strengthened, fueled by the knowledge that the fate of humanity hung in the balance. Through sheer determination and a healthy dose of luck, I managed to elude my pursuers long enough to reach the relative safety of the city streets. But even as I breathed a sigh of relief, I knew that my ordeal was far from over, that the Collector would stop at nothing to reclaim his prize, and that I was now the hunted, rather than the hunter. And so, with the Age Manipulator clutched tightly in my grasp, I vanished into the shadows once more, steeling myself for the trials that lay ahead. For I knew that the true battle had only just begun, and that the fate of the world depended upon my success. Chapter 6. Into the Underworld. With the weight of the world pressing down upon my shoulders, I knew that I had no choice but to delve deeper into the heart of darkness, to confront the Collector and put an end to his reign of terror once and for all. And so, with grim determination fueling my every step, I plunged headlong into the belly of the beast. The underworld greeted me with open arms, its labyrinthine streets teeming with life of a different kind. A pulsating, writhing mass of humanity driven by desperation and greed. But amidst the chaos, I caught fleeting glimpses of hope, a whispered rumor here, a cryptic message there, each one a breadcrumb leading me ever closer to my quarry. As I navigated the maze of alleyways and hidden passages, I could feel the eyes of unseen watchers upon me, their gaze piercing through the veil of shadows with unnerving precision. But I pressed on, driven by a singular purpose, to reclaim what was rightfully mine and restore balance to a world teetering on the brink of chaos. And then, just when I thought all hope was lost, I stumbled upon a glimmer of salvation, a secret entrance leading into the heart of the Collector's domain. With bated breath, I stepped through the threshold, steeling myself for the confrontation that awaited. What I found within was a sight beyond imagination, a vast chamber filled with treasures beyond reckoning, each one a testament to the depths of the Collector's depravity. But amidst the opulence, there he stood, a figure cloaked in shadows, his eyes burning with a hunger that sent shivers down my spine. With a trembling voice, I demanded the return of the age manipulator, knowing full well the dangers that lay in wait. But the collector only laughed, a hollow, mocking sound that chilled me to the core, as he revealed his true intentions and unleashed his minions upon me. And so, with no other recourse, I drew upon every ounce of strength and courage within me, ready to face whatever horrors lay in store. For I knew that the fate of the world hung in the balance, and that failure was not an option. Chapter 7. The Betrayal. As the collector's minions closed in around me, I found myself locked in a desperate battle for survival, a whirlwind of steel and shadow as I fought tooth and nail to hold them at bay. But for every foe I dispatched, two more seemed to take their place, their relentless onslaught threatening to overwhelm me at every turn. With each passing moment, the odds of victory grew slimmer, the weight of my own mortality pressing down upon me like a leaden shroud. And yet, amidst the chaos and despair, a glimmer of hope emerged, a familiar face amidst the throng of adversaries, his eyes filled with regret and remorse. It was then that I realized the true extent of the collector's treachery, that he had not acted alone, but had conspired with those closest to me to orchestrate my downfall. Betrayal cut deeper than any blade, leaving scars that would never fully heal. But even as the sting of betrayal gnawed at my soul, I refused to surrender to despair, drawing upon reserves of strength I never knew I possessed. With every blow, every strike, I fought with the ferocity of a wounded beast, determined to emerge victorious against all odds. And then, just when it seemed that all hope was lost, a miracle occurred. A sudden surge of power coursing through my veins, suffusing me with an otherworldly strength and clarity of purpose. In that moment, I knew that I was not alone, that the very essence of life itself flowed through me, guiding my hand and lending me the strength to overcome. With renewed vigor, I pressed the attack, driving back the collector's minions with a ferocity born of desperation and defiance. And as the final foe fell before me, I stood victorious amidst the wreckage of my enemies, the age manipulator clutched tightly in my grasp. But even as I savored the taste of hard-won victory, I knew that the true battle had only just begun, that the forces of darkness would not rest until they had reclaimed what they believed to be rightfully theirs. And so, with a heavy heart and weary soul, I prepared to face whatever trials lay ahead, knowing that the fate of the world still hung in the balance. Chapter 8. Allies and Enemies. With the age manipulator once again in my possession, I knew that I could not afford to let my guard down for even a moment. The collector's betrayal had taught me a valuable lesson, that in this world of shadows and deception, allies were few and enemies aplenty. And so, with a wary eye cast over my shoulder, I set out to gather whatever allies I could find, knowing that I would need all the help I could get in order to thwart the collector's plans once and for all. But in a world where trust was a rare commodity, finding willing allies proved to be no easy task. Yet, amidst the darkness I found flickers of light, a motley crew of misfits and outcasts, each with their own reasons for joining my cause. Together, we formed a ragtag band of rebels, united by a common goal and a shared sense of purpose. But even as our ranks swelled, so too did the ranks of our enemies. The collector's influence ran deep, his tendrils of corruption reaching into every corner of society. And with each passing day, the shadows grew darker, the danger more palpable. Yet, even in the face of overwhelming odds, we refused to back down, drawing strength from the bonds of friendship and the knowledge that we fought not just for ourselves, but for the future of humanity itself. And as we prepared to face the collector once more, I knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, we would face them together, united in our determination to see justice done. Chapter 9. The Chase Intensifies. As we embarked on our quest to thwart the collector's plans, the chase intensified, each step bringing us closer to the heart of darkness. With every passing moment, the weight of our mission bore down upon us, driving us forward with a relentless sense of purpose. But the collector was not one to be easily outmaneuvered, his minions dogging our every step with unwavering determination. It was as if he could anticipate our every move, staying one step ahead at every turn. Yet, despite the mounting obstacles, we pressed on, fueled by a fierce determination to see our mission through to the end. Through bustling city streets and shadowy alleyways, we pursued our elusive quarry, drawing ever closer to the final confrontation that would determine the fate of the world. But even as the chase reached its climax, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more at play, that the collector's machinations ran deeper than we could have ever imagined. And as we prepared to face him once more, I knew that the true battle had only just begun. Chapter 10, Showdown at Dusk. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the desolate landscape, we finally reached our destination, the heart of the collector's domain. The air crackled with tension as we prepared to confront our nemesis, knowing that the fate of the world hung in the balance. With every step, the weight of our mission pressed down upon us, driving us forward with a sense of urgency that bordered on desperation. But as we drew nearer to the collector's fortress, a sense of foreboding settled over us like a suffocating blanket, warning us of the dangers that lay ahead. And then, without warning, he appeared, a dark silhouette emerging from the depths of the fortress, his eyes burning with a malevolent intensity that sent shivers down my spine. With a voice like ice, he welcomed us to his domain, taunting us with promises of power and glory. But we were not swayed by his honeyed words, for we knew the truth, that behind his facade of charm lay a heart blackened by greed and ambition. And as he unleashed his minions upon us, we stood firm, ready to face whatever horrors lay in store. The battle that followed was like something out of a nightmare, a swirling vortex of steel and shadow as we clashed with the collector's forces, each blow striking home with deadly precision. But amidst the chaos and despair, a glimmer of hope emerged, a flicker of light amidst the darkness. With every foe we dispatched, our resolve only strengthened, fueled by the knowledge that we fought not just for ourselves, but for the future of humanity itself. And as the final showdown reached its climax, I knew that victory was within our grasp, if only we had the courage to seize it. Chapter 11. Confronting the Mastermind. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded into the night, I found myself standing face to face with the collector, our eyes locked in a silent battle of wills. With every fiber of my being, I resisted the urge to flinch under his intense gaze, refusing to show any sign of weakness in the presence of such darkness. But even as I stood my ground, I could feel the weight of his scrutiny bearing down upon me, probing the depths of my soul for any sign of vulnerability. And yet, despite his best efforts, I remained resolute, my resolve unshaken by his attempts to break me. With a voice like silk, he spoke, weaving a tapestry of lies and half-truths that threatened to ensnare me in their web of deceit. But I refused to be swayed by his words, knowing that behind his facade of charm lay a heart blackened by greed and ambition. And so, with a steely gaze and a voice that brooked no argument, I confronted him, laying bare the truth of his crimes for all to see. With each accusation, his mask of indifference slipped further, revealing the twisted soul that lurked beneath. But even as the collector recoiled in fury, I remained undeterred, knowing that justice would prevail in the end. And as he finally faced the consequences of his actions, I felt a sense of vindication wash over me, a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness that threatened to consume us all. With the collector defeated and his reign of terror brought to an end, I knew that our journey was far from over. But as we stood amidst the wreckage of our battle, I felt a renewed sense of purpose burning within me, driving me forward with a determination that could not be extinguished. For I knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, we would face them together, united in our quest to safeguard the future of humanity. And as we prepared to embark on the next chapter of our journey, I knew that our greatest challenges still lay ahead, waiting to test the limits of our courage and resilience. Chapter 12. The Truth Revealed. With the collector defeated and his fortress crumbling around us, it was finally time to uncover the truth behind his nefarious schemes. As we sifted through the wreckage of his domain, piecing together clues and unraveling the tangled web of deceit, a shocking revelation emerged, a revelation that would shake the very foundations of our understanding. For hidden deep within the collector's archives, we discovered evidence of a conspiracy that spanned generations. A conspiracy to manipulate the very fabric of reality itself. It seemed that the collector's ambitions extended far beyond mere greed and power, reaching into the darkest recesses of human imagination. But even as we grappled with the enormity of this revelation, another truth began to emerge, a truth that struck at the very heart of our existence. For it became clear that the collector was not acting alone, but was merely a pawn in a much larger game, a game orchestrated by forces beyond our comprehension. As the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, a sense of dread settled over us like a shroud, for we realized that the true enemy lay not in the shadows, but in the very fabric of reality itself. And as we prepared to confront this unseen adversary, I knew that our journey was far from over, that the greatest challenges still lay ahead, waiting to test the limits of our courage and resolve. But even as uncertainty loomed on the horizon, I took solace in the knowledge that I was not alone, that I stood shoulder to shoulder with allies who had become like family, united in our quest to safeguard the future of humanity. And as we prepared to face whatever trials lay ahead, I knew that together, we would emerge victorious, no matter the cost. Chapter 13, Redemption. As we delved deeper into the mysteries that surrounded us, a glimmer of hope emerged amidst the darkness. A chance for redemption, for ourselves and for humanity. For it became clear that our greatest weapon against the forces arrayed against us was not strength or power, but unity and compassion. And so, with a renewed sense of purpose burning within us, we set out to right the wrongs that had been done, to undo the damage wrought by the collector and his ilk. With every act of kindness and every gesture of solidarity, we struck a blow against the darkness, chipping away at the walls that sought to divide us. But even as we worked tirelessly to forge a brighter future, the shadows of doubt lingered in the corners of our minds, whispering tales of despair and defeat. For we knew that our enemy was cunning and ruthless, and that victory would not come easily. Yet, even in the face of overwhelming odds, we refused to surrender to despair, drawing strength from the bonds of friendship and the knowledge that we fought not just for ourselves, but for the generations yet to come. And as we faced each new challenge with courage and determination, I felt a sense of hope stirring within me, a belief that no matter how dark the night, the dawn would always follow. For in the end, it was not the power of our enemies that would determine our fate, but the strength of our convictions and the depth of our humanity. And as we stood united against the forces of darkness, I knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, we would emerge stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever to build a better world for all. Chapter 14, Closing In. As the final pieces of the puzzle fell into place, we found ourselves closing in on the true mastermind behind the conspiracy that threatened to tear our world apart. With every clue uncovered and every lead pursued, the web of deceit began to unravel, revealing the sinister truth that lurked at its core. But even as we drew closer to our elusive quarry, the stakes grew higher, the dangers more pronounced. For it seemed that our adversary would stop at nothing to protect their secrets, unleashing a torrent of chaos and destruction in their wake. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming opposition, we pressed on, fueled by a determination that burned brighter than any flame. For we knew that the fate of the world hung in the balance, and that failure was not an option. And so, with every step, we braced ourselves for the challenges that lay ahead, knowing that the final showdown would test the limits of our courage and resolve. But even as uncertainty loomed on the horizon, I took solace in the knowledge that I was not alone, that I stood shoulder to shoulder with allies who had become like family, united in our quest to safeguard the future of humanity. And as we prepared to face our greatest challenge yet, I knew that together, we would emerge victorious, no matter the cost. For in the end, it was not the strength of our enemies that would determine our fate, but the strength of our convictions and the depth of our humanity. Chapter 15, Epilogue. Time restored. As the dust settled and the echoes of our final battle faded into the distance, a sense of peace descended upon the world once more. With our adversary vanquished and the conspiracy thwarted, balance was restored to the fabric of reality, and hope blossomed anew. But even as we celebrated our hard-won victory, I couldn't shake the feeling that our journey was far from over, that new challenges lay ahead, waiting to test the limits of our resolve. Yet, amidst the uncertainty, there was also a sense of optimism, a belief that no matter what trials awaited us, we would face them together, united in our quest to build a better world for all. And as I stood amidst the wreckage of our battle, surrounded by friends and allies who had become like family, I knew that no matter what the future held, we would face it with courage, compassion, and unwavering determination. For in the end, it was not the strength of our enemies that defined us, but the strength of our convictions and the depth of our humanity. And as we looked towards the horizon, I felt a sense of hope stirring within me, a belief that no matter how dark the night, the dawn would always follow.